2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Hello everyone, it's Wednesday the 21st of December. It's Mike in for Jamie. It's National Humbug Day, and a very happy birthday to Samuel L. Jackson, Stephen Yeun, Jane Fonda, and Emmanuel Macron.
7.
Nurses on the picket line at Leeds General Hospital kept their spirits up as they sang a special Christmas carol for Health Secretary Stephen Barclay while they took part in a second day of industrial action. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is refusing to budge on pay talks. In an interview with the Daily Mail, he argued combating inflation is the most important priority for the government. Now, Wednesday sees ambulance workers head out on strike as well after talks with the Health Secretary ended without discussing pay at all. Sharon Graham from Unite the Union can't believe he simply won't engage on the main issue.
What the Minister has just said is that my door is always open, but not to talk to you about the very issue that you're on strike about. I think people will find that mind-boggling, to be honest.
Health Minister Will Quint says it's a point of principle for the government.
We can't be in a position where every year we're negotiating with the unions and being held to ransom in this way.
Tuesday saw 2 very different award ceremonies take place on either side of Russia's war in Ukraine. President Zelensky travelled to Bakhmut in the Donbass, the scene of the most intense frontline fighting of the war, described by both sides as the meat grinder, where he awarded medals to troops and praised their courage.
Our soldiers do not protect us for nothing. They give their lives. And we must at least sometimes risk ours to support our guys.
Reports on Wednesday morning suggest Zelensky is now on his way to the White House to meet with President Biden ahead of a new package of arms support. It's the first time since the Russian invasion the Ukrainian president has left the country, and the trip could still be cancelled due to security concerns. Meanwhile, on Tuesday in the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin handed out bouquets of flowers to supporters in the media, and for the first time admitted the situation in the 4 annexed Ukrainian territories was extremely difficult. He also had a stark message on Security Services Day, calling for his spy agencies to crack down in the annexed regions.
Maximum composure and concentration of forces is now required from counterintelligence agencies, including military intelligence. We must bear down hard on the actions of foreign special services and quickly identify traitors, spies, and saboteurs.
It's not turning out to be much of a Christmas week for former President Donald Trump. Monday saw the January 6th committee recommend 4 federal charges to the Justice Department. Committee member Congressman Jamie Raskin says the facts and detail of the investigation made clear the course of action they needed to take.
Nobody before, much less a president, had ever come so close to overthrowing a presidential election and bypassing the Constitution. That's what we were dealing with.
Things got more complicated for Donnie on Tuesday as the House Ways and Means Committee finally got to go through his taxes. They've spent 3 years in court to gain access, and on Tuesday night they released a summary report showing the IRS failed to properly audit the former president's returns. Speaking about the January 6th riots, Washington Post journalist and former lawyer George Conway says all roads lead to Trump.
But the point that they're trying to make is this: all roads lead to Donald Trump.
Monday saw a climate deal at the COP15 UN Biodiversity Summit in Montreal, Canada, with nearly 200 nations agreeing a landmark agreement aimed at safeguarding biodiversity. Tuesday saw more good news as a new study suggests trees may be far more efficient at carbon storage than previously thought. That could prove crucial as billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates is warning the world needs to work extremely hard to keep global warming under control. Professor Matt Disney of University College London says the UK's older trees are particularly important when it comes to carbon capture.
Mature woodland, mature forests are far more important. Their value is just generally almost infinitely greater, and it's very easy to lose that. It's very, very difficult to get that back. And so protecting that value that you have in those large, old, mature trees is almost incalculable.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Wolverine is back working out and Newcastle are winners as domestic football returns.
Right after this. Welcome back. 3,
Following a 6-week break due to the World Cup, Premier League clubs were back in action on Tuesday in the last 16 of the Carabao Cup. Leicester beat the MK Dons 3-0, Southampton won 2-1 against Lincoln, and Wolves put 2 past Gillingham. The only all-Premier League clash saw Newcastle against Bournemouth. That finished 1-0 to Eddie Howe's side, and he was reasonably pleased to make it to the quarter-finals.
We're delighted to be in it, and I think the lads have had to battle really hard to get to this position. You look through the games we've had in the competition, none of them have been easy. They've all been very, very difficult. So, yeah, we're very pleased with our position.
Hugh Jackman is back on the steak dinners and probably breakfast as well as he prepares for a return as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. But most importantly, he's promising that Wolverine's sudden reappearance in the Marvel Universe won't mess up the existing timeline that saw, well, how do I say this in a spoiler-free way? It saw Wolverine reach the natural end of his story arc. Anyway, Hugh says it's all fine because now they've got a time machine. Of course they have.
All because of this device they have in the Marvel world of moving around timelines. Now we can go back because, you know, it's science, and and so I don't have to screw with the Logan timeline, which was important to me, and I think probably to the fans too.
The first trailer for the epic new Christopher Nolan movie Oppenheimer has just dropped. It stars Cillian Murphy with a host of other big names, including Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, and Robert Downey Jr. Oh, and Kenneth Branagh, Rami Malek, and many, many more. It's filmed in IMAX, tells the story of the so-called father of the atomic bomb, Robert Oppenheimer, and it's due to hit cinemas in July.
Theory will take you only so far. We can be trusted with such a weapon. But we have no choice.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.